guys, what is going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. I'm Mike, your host, and I hope you guys are having the best day ever. Before I get started, guys, if you are new here, please subscribe if you haven't already done that. We're on the road to 82,000 subscribers, and I would love you to join me on this journey. So hit subscribe and join the fam. And also, guys, go follow me on all my social media. Links are in the description. I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Snapchat, so go follow me on all of those. And as you guys know, I recently started a Facebook account, so you can add me on Facebook, and we can be Facebook friends, so go do that. Link is in the description. And finally, be sure to turn on the notification bell right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. Thank you. But once again, I am coming back at you guys with another creepy video, and today we are talking about another scary story. And this scary story is called School at Night. So the story of the school at night is a Japanese urban legend about this school, well, schools in Japan, which are believed to be haunted because they were built on top of old cemeteries. This urban legend is also sometimes known as the 7 wonders of the school. But enough of the jibber jabber, let's get right over to the story. School at night. Years ago, in Japan, there was an urgent need for new schools. There were rumors that the government needed to find cheap land on which they could build the schools. So they built them on the sites of old cemeteries. This gave rise to the rumors and gossip among kids that the schools were haunted. They say that if you go to your school at midnight, you will see and hear many strange things, like a candle floating across the school grounds, disembodied footsteps echoing down the halls, and statues with eyes that follow you as you pass by. In the science room, the anatomical skeleton comes alive. You hear the sound of an invisible ball bouncing in the gym, and you might even see a ghostly severed head flying around the classrooms. If you walk across the schoolyard, ghostly hands will emerge from below and try to drag you down. If you dig on the school grounds, you will unearth headstones and tombs. If you go swimming in the pool, ghostly hands will grab your legs and try to drown you. Old buildings will appear on the school grounds, and there are staircases that lead to nowhere. If you walk up them, you will disappear. They say that one stall in the toilets is haunted, and if you enter it, a rope will fall from the ceiling in the shape of a noose. In one small town in Japan, there was a group of teenage boys who had heard the rumors about their school. According to the legend, if you went to the school at midnight on the 15th day of the month, strange things would happen. There was a statue that stood on the path leading up to the school, and its eyes would supposedly follow you as you passed by. If you walked up the main stairs, the number of steps would be different when you walked back down. If you turned on the taps in the science laboratory, blood would come flowing out instead of water. And if anyone dared to enter the last stall in the toilet on the ground floor, then that person would never be seen alive again. The boys decided to go to the school at night to test if the legends were true or if they were just stories. On the 15th day of the month, they sneaked out of their houses and met up at exactly midnight. There were 4 of them altogether. As they walked through the school gates and up the path, the boys stared at the statue, waiting for something to happen. The eyes of the statue were looking to the left, and even as the boys passed by, the eyes did not move an inch. So much for that stupid legend, one of the boys chuckled. They entered the school building and cautiously walked up the stairs, counting each step. 1, 2, 3. There were 13 steps in total. When they walked back down, there were still 13 steps. Another old wives' tale, said one of the boys. They made their way down to the corridor, to the science laboratory, and turned on all the taps. Instead of blood, all that came gushing out was water. They let out a disappointed sigh. I knew it, said one of the boys. We came here in vain. They decided to test out one more legend before they went home, and then they went to the toilets on the ground floor. However, when they came to the door of the toilets, a few of the boys lost their nerve. Although they had talked excitedly about it, none of them seemed in any hurry to enter the haunted stall. Finally, one boy, Shinichi, stepped forward and told the others he was not afraid of anything. He pushed the door and went into the toilet, while his friends waited outside. The boys looked at the clock. It was exactly 1 a.m. A minute later, Shinichi came out of the toilet with a grin on his face. Nothing, he said. It's all just a bunch of kids' stories and fairy tales. The boys all laughed and walked away. When they came out of the school, they walked back down the path. Before leaving, they took one last look at the statue, but its eyes were still looking to the left. What a letdown, one of the boys whispered contemptuously, and then they all went home. The next morning, each of the boys received a worried phone call from Shinichi's mother. Was Shinichi with you last night? She demanded. He wasn't there when I checked his room this morning. He sneaked out and still hasn't come home. Where is he? The boys felt something was wrong. In the end, they decided to tell their parents about the little trip they had taken the night before. Their parents contacted the school principal, and soon the adults, the kids, and the principal were gathering outside the school. What are you saying? The school principal asked. You're talking the statue outside the school? The eyes of that statue have always looked to the right. But when we were here last night, they were looking to the left, one of the boys exclaimed. Entering the gate, they were all shocked to see that the eyes of the statue were indeed looking to the right. But what about the steps on the main staircase? One of the boys cried. They all quickly ran to the staircase and counted the steps. 1, 2, 3, 12. Yes, said the school principal. The staircase has always had 12 steps. When it was built, the architects made a mistake in the design. It was supposed to have 13 steps. That's impossible, one of the boys shouted. But what about the taps in the lab? Entering the science laboratory, they all looked at the sinks. Each one was caked with a dark red stain. The boys were numb with fear. But, what about Shinichi? One of the boys mumbled. He went into the toilet. Let's go and see, said the principal in a grave voice. They all gathered outside the toilets. The boys and their parents looked at each other nervously. The principal took a deep breath, reached out, and pushed the door. Shinichi's mother let out a blood-curdling scream and fainted. The others recoiled in horror, and some of them could not help vomiting all over the floor. The dead body of their friend Shinichi was hanging from the ceiling with a rope wrapped around his neck. His face was deathly pale, and his eyes were wide open, frozen in a look of horror. His throat had been cut from ear to ear, and all the blood had drained out of his body, covering the floor in a pool of dark red. His internal organs and intestines had been removed. They were sitting in a neat pile in the toilet. One of the boys was in a daze. He was staring, unblinking, at the watch on Shinichi's wrist. It had stopped at exactly 1 a.m.
And that is the end of that. So this is a pretty creepy story, and I think it's very interesting, as usual. That's why I pick these stories, because I find them, like, when I'm reading them, some stories I get bored, some stories I really love, and this was one of the ones that I loved. But it leads me to the question, is this a true story? I mean, I'm pretty sure things like this are real. Like, when you got, like, a really ancient cemetery that's been built over with a school, there's bound to be paranormal activity. I'm not saying necessarily that statues will look at you, or, you know, bouncy heads will be bouncing in the whatever it was in the gym, or swimming pool monsters are going to grab you down. I'm not saying that's necessarily true, but it's possible. Like, schools can have a lot of paranormal activity, especially if they're built over cemeteries or burial grounds, especially like in the United States. Like, there's a lot of like Indian burial grounds which are long gone, and like schools have been built on top of them, and it's scary to think like there's gotta be paranormal activity. But my question to all of you for question of the day is, do you think this was a true story? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section. That is question of the day. And if you've had any paranormal experiences in your school, also let me know about that too. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please slap a like on it. Let's see if we can go for 29 billion likes on this video. I would really appreciate that. And if you guys didn't see my previous video, wait till the outro comes on and you can click right here and it will take you straight over to that. And if you just want to watch a random one, you can click this side and it will do the same thing. But remember, the most important thing of all, guys, chase your dreams. I love you all. Don't let anybody bring you down. And yeah, I almost forgot what I was saying. Peace out. I love you guys. See you here tomorrow for another video. Peace.